Hey everybody, Steve Polkowski here, giving the union negotiation update from last night. Big news, we got the camera working again. Motzko was super bummed that my face wasn't on the last one, so we're back up and running. So just a recap on the first four in case you missed the first video I put out in terms of the status on a couple things, and then we'll get to the new stuff. So we had proposed personal days being able to be used on any in-service day. That one was denied. I'll cover that when we get to number 12. Number 2, percentage of staff only to be used. Or the percentage of staff gone only applying to those that need subs, basically not counting against staff if like a nurse or a counselor needs or takes a personal day or a sick day and is out of the building. So that is approved pending ASOP's ability to do that. So as long as ASOP it works in the system, it'll work for us. So we had proposed the professional work time, which was 2 hours per in-service day for professional work time. That was denied, as was the professional courtesy. I could explain that again if you missed that and you want more definition of it. You can watch the previous video because I talked about that in a little more detail than I want to on this one. Now for the new stuff and the updates on where everything stands. We had the ECFE SR sub pay. Basically, they weren't getting the same district staff bonus as everybody else in the district, so they want that same ability for when they sub in the district as well, and that got approved. The contract language on the stretch calendar for school psych, that got approved. It was moved from an MOU to the contract. MOU extension, the special ed discussion forums, those are going to be we requested that they be extended for another 2 years, and that was approved as well. And then ADSYS language and dates, there was a counter because we were taking names out of the MOU and making it positions rather than specific people. There was a counter that basically allows for principal discretion if that, from the sounds of it, if that position stays whole. That language would be fine, but if it gets kind of chopped up amongst a number of people, we kind of probably wouldn't want that because then staff would be showing up partial days, and it makes sense. So that's where that one stands. Building climate, it's too hot in our rooms. We know that. It's been put on their table. They're working on some solutions, but ultimately, obviously, we knew that one was going to get denied, and it did. In terms of unused sick days and personal days, we had asked that mirror the subs rate of pay. They countered back to us at $130 per day. That's up from $120. So we've got a little work to do on that one still. The length of the day, making all of our days 8 hours and getting rid of evening conferences, that one was denied. So yeah, that's where that one stands. They want to keep evening conferences, which it kind of is what it is, I guess. Now for the fun one, the pay increase. We had made our original proposal, which was multiple options that would get us to a 3.5% increase on the average daily rate of pay on the first year. They countered, and that was through either pay increase or reduction of days. Their counter offer to that was in year one. Was a 1.75% increase in pay and two-day reduction in our work year in terms of reducing in-service days by 2 days. So we're not quite where we want to be yet, so we've got some work to do on that. Our original proposal for year 2 was state aid minus 0.1%. They countered with state aid minus 0.5%. So obviously we've got some work to do still on our pay increase, but it's the parameters are starting to become a little bit more defined in where we're headed. So that I'm sure will be our biggest negotiation point next time. Then for the ones that we just proposed last time, or on yesterday, we had an increase or an addition of sub language for specialists. Basically, if you're a Title I teacher, this is a lot towards the elementary school, and you're pulled out for half a day or a full day to cover a sub, but you only get your prep time, basically we added a multiplier in that would increase the pay for people that are getting pulled out of their jobs to do sub jobs. So that one's on the table. We also introduced a sub incentive that would give little bonuses throughout, I guess theoretically, the year as teachers that were giving up their prep continuously got as they continued more and more time. So basically the more times you sub, then you'd get some little incentives along the way, just so it's trying to increase the people that are willing to sub during their prep periods. We had CTE language that's going to be proposed, that's still being developed, but since last time was our third meeting, we had to do a placeholder, so I'll have more detail on that probably as early as after next negotiation. ECFE sick leave, basically that one was for ECFE teachers. The wording in our contract was a little bit wonky in the sense that if you read it, it looks like their sick leave disappears at the end of each school year, and this is going to allow that to accrue just like everybody else's. So that's, I would sure hope that's not a sticking point. And then we had ECFE leave of absence that there was no military language in there, so that's going to be added as well, hopefully. We also had a suggestion that we give staff the option of converting unused personal days into sick days at the end of the year. So, if you get to the end of the year, you still have 3 personal days. You can convert, 1 you can carry over, 2 you can turn into sick days rather than getting paid out. So, so we did propose that. That came from one of you guys, so thank you for that suggestion. And then the last one, number 19, was another suggestion that came in recently, which was including daycare closures on the list of things for emergency day use. So those were all number 13 through 19 were just proposed yesterday. So we haven't gotten any feedback from the district on those. In terms of the district proposal, there was the online learning proposal, which basically allows for a class to be taught in an online setting. It was very vague, so we needed to put some guardrails in. 1, on the amount of people in the class, and 2, allow for curriculum development for teachers that are going into that setting for the first time. So that proposal is, that counter is back on them. They had proposed putting our sick bank basically a pause on it because of the new Family Medical Leave Act that starts in like 6 months-ish. It starts January 1st. And we said, no, there's no data that this thing works right, so we're going to keep it in there, and if everything works fine, maybe bring it back next go around, but that was one that we rejected. And then we had the HRA language in incentivizing, people that are being double covered in insurance, possibly taking a bigger HRA contribution and not insurance. But like I said in the last video, we're not sure that that's legal. So we're not sure, and they're not sure. So there are heads being put together and trying to figure out if that's even an option. So more to come on that if it is deemed to be legal. So. Yeah, that's where everything is at right now. There will be no scheduled negotiations next week because it's the last week of the school year, but we are going to be meeting that in-service week during the day to continue the negotiation process. So I will make another video when we get closer, and hopefully we can get things, keep on going in the right direction and maybe get this done sooner than later. So if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great Memorial Day weekend and great rest of the school year.